Hey guys, and welcome back to the Casio Watches YouTube channel. For those of you joining us for the first time, if you like what you see today, then please make sure you subscribe. Also, any of you that are Facebook users, please make sure you come and check out our Facebook group, Casio Watches. We're now at over 2,000 members, which I take great delight in saying that. It's a place for new collectors, experienced collectors to come and share what they've got at the moment, what they're wearing, modifications that they've done, ask and answer questions. And also recently we've started getting a lot of people buying and trading watches, so people can come on and find that key piece that they've been looking for and searching for. So please come and check us out on Facebook, Casio Watches. So today we're going to take a look at a fantastic little watch that I've had for a few months now. This is the Casio W217H, and as you can see here I have the gold version. Now, many people say that this watch is the big brother of the classic Casio F-91W, and we're going to have a little comparison between the two today, the 217 and the F-91W. But before we do that, let's focus our attentions on this fella right here, the W217H. Now, as I mentioned a few moments ago, I've obviously got the gold variant, and the 217 comes in a variety of colours, some of which you can see here right now. And amongst those colours we have a variety of metallics, but we also have the classic look that mimics almost the F-91W, the original F-91W that is, with the black face with the blue outline. So let's go through some specs of the 217. First of all, the width of the case is 41mm, and I'll bring in the F-91W later on to do some comparisons with. So we're at 41mm wide, we're at around 43mm lug to lug, and just over 10mm thick, and it weighs a nice 32 grams, so it's heavier than the F-91W. And mine, with this lovely gold tone to the case, you can see here we've got a really clear display, large digits, lovely matching gold text here where it says alarm and 50 meters of water resistant, and then the mode markers, the little arrows, are also in gold, so that really ties in with the whole look of the watch, and it's a really nice piece to have in my collection. So let's go through some of the features. Early doors, we've got obviously basic alarm, we've got the stopwatch, nice and clear, and then we've got the time set mode. There we go. Now, one thing that did slightly change on the 217 compared to the F-91W, and I'm not really sure why they did this, but they switched around the light button and the button that starts and stops the stopwatch, but also switches between AM and PM. Now, a lot of people think the reason they did this from the F-91W, where that one obviously had the light up here and the AM, PM, 12-hour, 24-hour switch over here and the stop button for the stopwatch, where sometimes people would bump this and knock this by accident, which meant that we would keep switching between 12-hour and 24-hour clock without wanting to. So that's one of the theories behind why from the 91W to the 217H we swapped the buttons around from the top left and the bottom right and the functions that they have. So the 217H, it features a superior light to the F-91W, and I'll put them both on later on so you can see the difference. It's got bigger digits, clearer screen, and also, as you can see on here, it's got the water resistance displayed at 50 meters. Now I'm going to put this on the wrist later on, but before I do that, I think it makes sense to bring in the F-91W so we can start to see and make some comparisons between the two. Now, straight away, again, you can see the F-91W, for such an old watch, had a really clear screen there, really clear digits, easy to read, but it is significantly smaller than the 217H. So if I just go through the specs again so we can make some comparisons here. First of all, the width of the case. On the 217, I told you earlier, it's 41mm. The F-91W comes in at just over 33mm wide. Lug to lug, we have 43mm on the 217, and for the F-91W, we have just over 37mm. The thickness is 10.5mm on the 217 and 9.5mm on the F-91W, and the weight is where we really see some difference. As I said before, the 217 weighs in at 32 grams, and the tiny weeny little F-91W weighs in at 20 grams. Few people say that nowadays the F-91W looks better on a child's wrist or a woman's wrist. I think unless you've got very, very large wrists, maybe say over 7.5 inches or maybe 8 inches plus, I think this watch looks great. It's a classic. It's a classic piece. Anybody that has a Casio collection more than likely has this watch in it, the F-91W. It's the best-selling watch of all time, but at the moment in 2020, the 217 has some features that are upgraded from the F-91W. Just going back to the F-91W, in my house we've actually got 4 of these. I've got the classic one here that you can see. I've got a lovely variant with a green face, and my wife's actually got 2 of her own F-91Ws, the pink one and the light blue one. They are great watches. So I'm going to move this one back out of the way for the time being. I'm going to talk about some of the features on this watch. Now, I mentioned previously that this has an upgraded light to the F-91W, and I'll try my best to show that now. So if I just cover it over very slightly, we should be able to see the difference here between the two. So there we go, a lovely bright orange glow on the 217. There we go, the light source coming from the middle on the left hand side of the screen and lighting up that screen. If you were lying in bed with this watch wanting to check the time, it would actually be visible, and that is a very, very clear upgrade, I must say, to the F-91W. Anybody that's owned an F-91W before, even if it's in the middle of the night and you wake up and you want to see what time it is, you can barely see it. So if I bring this in, again, the button on the top left on the F-91W compared to the bottom right hand corner on the 217. If I cover this up, you can see, there we go, we get some glow, but it barely does anything, if we're honest. But it's a classic watch, it's a cult piece. I think we can forgive the F-91W for that light. So again, we've got a real upgrade on the 217H. We haven't got electroluminescence like we would, for example, have on, let me just grab this, one of my favourite small Casios, the W86. Again, if I cover this up and put this on, you can see, bang, real glow on the electroluminescence. So we haven't quite got that. The 217 is sort of middle of the road if you compare the 3. The W86 obviously is the brightest with the electroluminescence, and then in a clear second place would be the 217H. Now, I'm going to tell you about one of the real issues with this watch. This is my biggest issue with this watch, unfortunately. I think it's a great piece. It looks much better on the wrist because it is bigger than the F-91W. It's got those larger digits, much easier to read. It's got this lovely, almost gold matching background to the LCD screen there that ties in with the case around itself. But the real weakness for me, and I'm pretty sure other people who own this watch will agree with me, please let me know in the comments below, is that the strap is a real weakness. So if I move my little stand out of the way, take it off here, the strap is a real weak link in this watch because, yes, it's got a nice Casio mark on it, there we go, but it is really, really thin and very, very uncomfortable. And I'll put it on my 6 3/4 inch wrists in a minute just to show you how it looks. Again, if I give you some different angles, fantastic colour here, the gold really pops. Feels like it's going to be quite a weighty watch when you have it on, but again, it's only 32 grams. Really well finished. And then the buttons, of course, are a silver colour on the side and they really pop from the gold case. But yeah, the strap, as I said, it's very, very very thin, and it's also quite hard. And on my wrist, because I do have slimmer wrists, I find a strap like this very, very uncomfortable. So I'll pop it on and show you how it looks. Again, very, very easy to swap out pretty much any Casio strap. The W86 that I showed you earlier has a really comfortable strap from a CA53 on there, probably the most comfortable of the small Casio straps out there in my opinion. So here we go. This is the 217 on my 6 3/4 inch wrists. You can see, looks like it would be more comfortable than it actually is, but unfortunately I really find it quite painful at times cutting into my wrists, especially around these parts here. And if I have it any looser than that, it will be moving up and down my wrist when I'm moving around. So there it is. Really looks nice on the wrist, especially in this colour. There are, as I mentioned earlier, quite a few variants of the colours that you can get for this watch, and most of them are quite easy to come by. As of making this video, I believe they still have the silver case with the negative display on the Argos website. Argos, remember, being a UK based company, so you can check that out. But I'm sure again they have them on Amazon as I've made this video. Really well priced. You can easily pick this watch up any day of the week for under £20, and again it gives you that real upgrade on that classic F-91W. So before I end this short showcase video, bring them back in together side by side. We can see we've got the undisputed king of the mini Casios here on the right, but also in 2020 is the 217, that upgrade that we've been waiting for. Will it give a little bit more presence on the wrist compared to the F-91W? This will never replace this because of the history and the background behind this watch. However, can we have both in our collections, and will this one be on the wrist a little bit more in 2020 than the F-91W? Let me know in the comments below if you have both of these watches, what you think about the 217, or if you're planning on getting it and maybe after watching this video you think, actually, it's worth a shot. It's got that wrist presence, it's got that better light, it's got those larger digits. If that's the case, then let me know. Now, just to end, again, thanks for joining us. Make sure you drop a subscription. Come and check us out on the Facebook group Casio Watchers, and hopefully over the next few days I'm going to be reviewing and showcasing another watch that I've just picked up, and this time it's a Casio analog watch, and it is not the Duro, it's something else. Okay, so I look forward to seeing all of you next time, so take care and thanks again.